This show was originally called The Education of Richie Ryan. But about 10 years ago when we shot this, there was a movie out called The Education of somebody, I forget who it was. And television producers, being the courageous souls that we are, we decided that rather than create confusion, we would change the title of our show to something a little less appropriate, and we called it An Eye for an Eye. It really should be called The Education of Stan Kirsch. When we cast Stan, we were just looking for a good actor, and we found one. Likeable, charming, and building a very nice fan base. We had not anticipated when we cast him that the option might exist for him to become an immortal. But we layered that into the first episode, The Gathering, and we decided that we were going to exercise that option, as it were, now. Suddenly, he had to go from being MacLeod's sort of sidekick and, younger brother character to taking his place in the world of immortals. And the first thing you have to learn as an immortal is how to take care of yourself. So Stan had to, in addition to changing, or beginning to change the way his relationship worked with his character and MacLeod's character, he also had to learn how to do this stuff, and we had to see a kind of a growth pattern coming from him as he went from being like you or I, who had never done anything, never held a sword in their hand, learning, and in this case specifically, that there was an opponent there, a present opponent who was very skillful and was waiting for him. Now, the opponent, Sheena Easton, also had no martial arts skills or no sword skills. So to make everything a little easier for them, we set it in an almost impossible location. The steps leading up to the lighthouse would have been a very dicey place to have a sword fight, even if you had two terrific sword fighters. But Sheena had never held a sword in her life, maybe at a dinner party or a costume ball, and she had one day to learn how to do this. And for two people who really had never done it before, between some clever directing and some clever editing, I think it looks like they're going at it.
One of the episodes that I caught a lot of hell for was An Eye for an Eye with Sheena Easton. Someone once told me that death was an aphrodisiac. It's a thing that pushes you to life, and the greatest thing in life, and that says life, is sex. So we had MacLeod make love to another character right after Tessa died, and the fans hated it, and the women wanted to string me up. I was a cad and a cur and a misogynist.
We're shooting at the lighthouse, on the stairs. Everything is very complicated. And then a box, gets washed up onto the shore. It says explosives on it. And we had to stop filming. And we lost 6 hours of shooting. We had an insurance claim. It's the only time that we ever stopped filming on Highlander, ever.